Welcome to Eagle Spire Gaming. I'm your host, Crown, and today is November 15th, and we have Great Penance Episode 5. We got a lot of miles to cover, so let's get to it. So, I'm going to break today's episode into 3 parts. First, we're going to have news, and then we're going to talk about the hobby inside of today's models that I have finished. I've actually finished them a few days ago, sorry guys. But they are the basilisks. And then we're going to talk about tactics for those basilisks. So, without further ado, the news. I just looked. I hadn't looked in a while, and we got 201 subscribers. Yay! Awesome. Thank you guys, everyone subscribing to me. I appreciate it. That's awesome. All the likes and the comments and everything. It's been a big jump in the last, I think I clicked a button and YouTube said they had 48 subscribers in the last 20-something days. So that's really cool. Awesome. That's like half a quarter of the channel in the last month. So that's, I'm really stoked about that. In a little bit more of a, we'll have a negative sandwich. Good, bad, good. You don't have to eat it. I'm not going to. But, last Friday, today's Friday, last week, also on Friday, I woke up to a very intense, what initially I only realized was back pain, but I later realized my stomach was also hurting, my chest. And this was like at 4 in the morning. I didn't need to be up for hours. I tried going back to sleep. I made a mention of this in the video I posted Monday, and there was a brief mention of it in the comments as somebody responded to it. But after a trip to the ER and waiting for hours, they determined that my gallbladder is not functioning properly. It is making gallstones, apparently more common with females than with men. According to my doctor, who I saw 2 days ago, and we are working on getting my insurance to cover that and prove that surgery so that I can have them taken out. It has been, it's still a lot of pain. I can sleep now. It's a lot of pain and pressure on my chest. It has slowed down my ability to do things. I had a video, I think Monday's video I wanted to do I wanted to do that like Saturday or something. I was going to do something. I was going to do this on Friday, and I was going to do something else. And then I've got so many things to do that I could have filled in, but I am trying to just rest and sleep or something. You just lay down more. But we're working through it, and you know, once that's done, there might be a week where I'm out of it completely. Surgery is probably not going to be too bad, but there's going to be a week where I'm not able to go to work. I don't know if I'll sit up and paint for that time, or if I'll work on videos, or if I'll even maybe just read and try to re-educate myself on lore or numbers or stats or something. I'm sure I'll try to do something, but maybe I'll do nothing. And you'll know that that's happened because you'll probably see a week of me just not doing much. But after that, things should pick back up to a better pace, make some improvements. And then we get the holidays coming up, so that might slow things down again. I don't know. We'll see what goes on. And then the last good thing for news, and this is more exciting for you all. That only matters because it's been an impact and will be an impact on the videos. Thank you all for your kind words and everything. I appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you. I don't know what to say. The good news, the really good news. Last night, me and Crayola, it took 2 days to do. Me and Crayola had our first game that we played that we also recorded. So that will be a battle report coming in. I've already uploaded both parts of the video. 2 days, the phone died partway through, and I had to, we called it for that night, and then we started filming again. I'm gonna put that on my computer, and I'm going to trim it up, get rid of all the there's a lot of downtime that you guys don't want to see. If you've watched any other battle reports, I think a lot of people, or what I've seen, people film the first turn. That takes a long time. That first turn takes a while, and then you sorry, that was a hiccup, and that just hit the gallstone. You do the first turn, and then you kind of skip everything and get to the good stuff for the following turns, and then it's kind of over really quick. because that first turn is that first turn's the longest. Crayola was asking about that. How much longer is this going to be? You probably won't see that in the video once I trim it. Maybe you do, but I kept telling her, like, turn 1 was an hour. Turn 2 through 5 was 2 through 4. We did 4 turns. That was another hour. So yeah, it speeds up quick. Yeah. So that is going to be coming. I will have that out as soon as I can. Maybe sometime after the weekend. I don't know. It is a lot to look through. This is going to be the biggest video I've ever ever edited, filmed, or anything. So I don't even know if what I'm using is going to allow me to do that. But we will see. We will persevere, or give up horribly. But yeah. So to the models, Basilisks. These little guys. This is what they look like. They're awesome. Let's come in closer. Let's zoom in here. Look at that gold trim, that sleek design, that large cannon at the top. We got a little bit of detailing in this with the reds. I've used 3 metallic colors to kind of give it some individuality, you know, make things stick out a little different. I haven't picked out every single detail that there is because that would just take too much time, but there is quite a bit of detailing that I have put in here. Me rotating this in front of the camera, not the best way to do it. I will have slides. They come out a little bit bigger than a Lehman Russ, but smaller than a Malcador. The tracks are actually pretty much identical to the Lehman Russ. It ends up just being that the chassis itself is slightly wider. And with only 1 gun on it, it's very easy. It's the gun is fixed similar to the Malcador's hull-mounted demolisher cannon, where it is on that slide, that plate there that allows it to go up or down, and you pick the elevation. And what I've done, this is actually my third group of, my second box, my third detachment, my 4 groups of 4 of basilisks. And what I've done is I have each detachment, each group of 4 has its own elevation that I have gone with for these turrets, right? So here's one. Here's the newest. This is one of the first detachments, and you can see, you know, putting them together, that they have a different elevation entirely. And then this is the first one, also a separate elevation, and you can see that it's slightly lower angle of fire. And you can build these however you want. You can have them all be all over the place with elevations. But when you have a detachment of these, they're all firing at the same target. Any detachment in the game is all firing at the same target. The only guns that aren't going at the same target are your point defense guns, which are also all firing at their own same target. So having a bunch of artillery with cannons aimed in every different direction, some of them 90 degrees up, or 45 degrees up is probably more realistic, and some of them at 20 degrees to shotgun the enemy. Not really practical. They're all going to be aiming for the same thing. They're going to have that same elevation. So what for my purpose, for my mind, my OCD-ness, undiagnosed, I have, you know, this group of 4. They are all roughly the same elevation. I say roughly because working with miniatures like this, it is hard to have everything the exact same. Now, this was a unit of infantry, you know, a base of 5 Marines or auxiliary, or even your tertiary, your thralls. Them having their guns up at every different direction is fine because they are looking at windows, they are threat analysis for every direction, they are surrounded, right? But these things, they're in the back, they are firing away at coordinates given to them over the radio, over comms, or through carrier pigeon, and that is what they are firing down on. They're all aiming for the same thing. They're only ever going to have different directions when everything has gone to absolute hell. And at that point, they're probably not going to survive. And a quick a fun way, easy way to get that uniformed elevation is if you place them. You could try lining them up and having them in a row and just eyeballing it, and that's kind of what I did for the most part. But if you take them and put them across from each other, and you have to offset them because the gun isn't in the center of the vehicle. It's slightly here to the left side of the vehicle. There's no way to show that properly. It's slightly there to the left of the vehicle as it faces forward. So what you can do is you put them across from each other and offset them. And if they are, this is the barrel, right? Big thick thing. You put them together, no matter what elevation they are. If they're the same elevation, the bottom is going to touch first. If they're doing like this, not the same elevation. Or like this, not the same elevation. So they should come together. The bottom of that barrel should be what touches. And if it's a little bit off, that's fine. You got it close enough. You're going to be standing 3 feet away just through your own body height. You'll be fine like that. But if it's a huge difference, you're going to notice it, even from across the room. But that's a me thing. It makes it look nice. I like it that way. Do what you want, and people shouldn't really be sitting there and attacking you for that. You've put work into what you love, and you've done it the way you want to. So, let's talk about tactics for these guys. They are 140 points for a unit of 4. You can get them in units of 4, 8, or 12, and there is no discount for getting any more of them. These came out in the second book, Titan Death. Nothing in that book, nothing to my recollection, had any discounts at all. Most things in the first book, and I'm pretty sure most things in the second book, had a discount of some sort if you took that increase in the detachment size. And for whatever reason, be it was felt that they would be too powerful if they had a discount, or maybe it was written by a different team and they just didn't know that was what they were doing. Who knows? GW will never tell us the truth, and my crystal ball is in the shop for repairs. But they don't have a discount. So 35 points each individually, right? And what they have is they are outfitted with a beautiful cannon that fires from 8 to 90 inches away. Anything within 8 inches of them, they cannot fire at, which is unique. Not a lot of things have that in this game, but they do. Their weapons are also barrage weapons, which means you don't need line of sight to see them, which is good because 90 inches of table space, you probably shouldn't be able to see that far anyway. Something should be in the way at that size. Their gun is a 4-up to hit and a -2 AP. None of those debuffs such as light or light AT or AT, anti-tank. So anything that they're targeting has that -2 to their armor. The barrage is, in addition to giving you the ability to fire out of line of sight, it also means that if you are shooting out of line of sight, you have a -1 to hit, which means they're hitting on 5s if you're doing it that way. This is not good. This is not good for the vehicle because when you hit on a 5 as opposed to a 4, you go from hitting 50% of the time to now hitting 1/3 of the time, 33% of the time, something like that. And that means that you are hitting 9 to 7. Hitting and wounding, and the opponent fails their save 9 to 17% less in the game. It gets against things that are 8 have an armor save of 5 or 6, which wouldn't have an armor save against a basilisk because you have AP -2 and they can't roll a 7. You're going to kill 17% less of the time. You're going to inflict the wound 17% less of the time. Against something with a 2-up save, it's a 9% difference, which is still huge. You go from something with a 2-up save, a Layman Rust, for example, you have a 25% chance to kill it. if you're hitting it on a 4. You have a 16% chance if you are hitting it on a 5. So that's kind of a big deal. 1 unit of 4 should kill, statistically speaking, 1 Lehman Russ hitting on 4s, but they suddenly do no damage. They suddenly don't have a whole chance to kill 1 if they're hitting on 5s. And you just say 16% times 4. So 2/3 of the time. What are you really using it for? So against, real quick, I got the numbers here. Against something with a 2-up save, you have a 25% chance to kill it. 3-up save, you have a 33% chance to kill it. A 4-up save, you have a 42% chance to kill it. 5 and 6 becomes 50%, which is your hit chance because they don't get a save. So what we need to do is we need to try to make sure that they are able to hit on 4-ups. To do that, we take the artillery company. The artillery company is going to require that we take 3 units of these and at minimum an HQ. So either the tactical commander or the auxiliary legate commander, who costs 16 points versus the first guy's 10. So it's going to be 430 points to get 3 units of these that can fire wherever they want. That cheap little auxiliary commander, he helps out because now we can give them first fire orders. You know, he just sits in the back. He doesn't have to hang out with anybody else, and he doesn't have to go forward and actually stick around with everybody else doing their thing so that they can keep doing their things, and now we can fire on first fire because otherwise you can't. Or we can add in bastions, and we can make this more expensive. We can use it for the bastion for a bastion to get some anti-aircraft, the Imperialis tarantulas, or we can even put in some rapier crews, or we can even put in some Velatari or Ogrins to be for the support units, so that we have something that can work against. We have something that can countercharge when we inevitably are assaulted by by people that want to come back behind our lines and get to these guys. So a couple of options there with that formation. If you just wanted to take the cheaper, just a single single battery, it's a lot. You save a lot of points doing that, but you're really not that effective. Mind you, you're not taking these guys for their damage output. Anything else can do more damage for a cheaper price. Basilisks provide precision firepower. That is to say that they can put their firepower wherever they want it. Stormhammers, Baneblades, infantry, all of those things do more damage for less points, but they can only do it where they are. They can only do it to what's in line of sight of them. And if you're playing on a table with enough terrain to properly play the game, you're going to find that there's a lot of places that you can't get to, you can't shoot at without moving a few turns. You can't, you might be able to charge it, but you're going to have to go through a lot of different areas, and that area is where your enemy has more concentration of firepower anyway, so your infantry still might not be, a couple of units might not be able to get there. If you're running if you're looking at the table as the middle and your left and right flanks, and you are running a 3-pronged assault where you've got forces going to the left, you've got forces going to the right, and you've got a bulk of it going to the middle. Or even take away some of that, right? There might be an enemy on one of your flanks that you couldn't kill. You couldn't get to it beforehand. You couldn't get to it with the firepower that you had. It wasn't available to you to destroy that before it had a chance to fire, before something else got taken out. Maybe what you had planned to use to get rid of it was destroyed. Something like that. Basilisks, tucked away in any corner of the map, are going to be able to fire on that target, and they are going to be able to do their damage. It's a little bit of chip damage compared to their points, but I mean, most things are anyway, unless you're actually charging them. Really, 30-point infantry, 4 bases, charging into a unit of tanks, that's how you kill tanks. That's the effective way to do things, is to just charge in. But you're going to get eaten up by point defense weapons. You're going to get blocked by other infantry. You're going to get assaulted by other infantry. What blocks my basilisk from shooting my opponent? Well, unless he can charge me, but I have my own blockers for that. So he can't stop it from coming unless he destroys it. And that, if I do things right, that probably means he has his own basilisk as the only possible alternative. And then it becomes a war of who can get to the other guy's basilisk first. So if I come prepared for that, basilisks allow me to put damage where I want them, whereas a Stormhammer or a Baneblade or infantry, I have to work for harder to get them there. It's a tool. I'm not going to take an entire army of them because that would be wild and absurd. No, and it would cost too many points. They are still kind of expensive. I could maybe see myself, I do have, 2 boxes gives you 16 of them, and this is only 12. So I've got another group, I've got 4 more guys, but they're Medusas. And really what I want to, I want those guys are going to be a lot closer. These are backliners, these guys are in the back, and they're going to be pounding the ground and prepping the area before we get anywhere, before, softening up the targets so that the frontliners can that damage that they do can cause routes, or maybe they get rid of a couple of defensive positions before they have a chance to shoot, things like that. That's what these guys do, and they can do it wherever. I could also just get 3 more. I could get 3 more Baneblades, 4 more Baneblades, really, and I could run those up the field, and I could cover 2 of those different approaches, 2 of those different parts of the table. But then that third approach is now left unsupported. So that's what these are for. That's how you're going to make these guys work. They are not the massive amounts of damage that you want them to be. They are a little bit of damage where you need them to be. They're like Batman. Anyway, that is all that we have to say for the Basilisk. I have 2 more units for the Solar Auxiliary that I'm going to be painting up before I shift my focus to the next faction that we're going to have. There's only a few more things of Solar Auxiliary that I have left to do anyway, and I just got that itch, and maybe if I do 12 nights, I can then come back and everything will feel a lot more fresh to me anyway. That's right, 12 nights. We're going to do the Night Household as requested on the vote. 53% of you voted for, or 53% of my voters voted for the Night Household to be the next enemy, the rival to this Solar Auxiliary. Not the rival to, but the people that the first painted rivals. They've got their own rival of Solar Auxiliary that's going to be coming, but it's not going to be as many. It's not going to be as wide of an army, and it's not going to be as in depth. But they're coming. So yeah, we're gonna have some. I'm gonna paint up some Stormblades, and I'm gonna paint up some Stormhammers. So I'm bringing the Storm before I move on to the Knights. I don't think either of those things are going to be very effective against Knights specifically. Maybe I should have done a Shadow Sword. Shadow Swords have Engine Killer too, so that makes them one-shot Knights. Oh man, I'm gonna regret that. Oh well. Don't list Taylor against your enemy. And I don't want to list Taylor against Crayola. That would be absolutely rude of me. I'll get her some Shadow Swords so that she can use when I play Knights. Yes. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Once again, this has been Eagle Spire Gaming. I've been Crowned. Thank you for coming and watching. Thank you for flying by. Have a great day.